Turned it up 7 times higher. Funny thing is, the ones that threw me in, they got consumed with me. I didn't even perspire. See, I'm listening for God's voice like the cops listening on the wire. For the prize of the high calling is to what I aspire. Look, I admire diamonds because they're made under pressure. What doesn't kill me makes me stronger. Or it's just a refresher. Maybe I need a refilling. Maybe I need a rehealing. Be led by the Spirit and stop appealing to my feelings. Be aware of what I track and what I find attractive. You gotta try the Spirit by the Spirit before you attach it. Roses are beautiful, but they still have thorns like a cactus. If sin was a profession, some of us church folks would be sued for malpractice. Look, God didn't save you from it so you could do it more. I mean, He didn't deliver you from the pimp so you could become a church. There's kids here. Some people never experience afterwards because they always revert to before. But before I go back to what I was, I think I'll give God just a little bit more. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found, was blind, but now I see. Now I'm restored on one accord, sharpening my sword. I've learned some stones will cease in my life when I throw Jonah overboard. See, I'm saved by grace. I'm saved by faith. God's my foundation, my base, my support, my grace. I'm cleaning the potter's hand, and He's making a vase. He's filling my cup until it runs over. I've matured from milk to meat, no longer a need for a stroller. I realize I've matured only because I've endured. Salvation isn't a sprint, it's a marathon, and your life is on tour. There is now no condemnation, so just embrace your salvation. Amazing grace is always with you, even in your temptation. Where sin is, grace is, sort of like a vaccination to protect you from yourself and your lustful imagination. Look, we're all drawn away by our own lust and entice. The devil only presented a pizza because he knew you wanted a slice. See, he's precise in his maneuvers. He knows this flesh is our vice, but I'm like Paul praying, not once, not twice, but thrice. God answered and said that His grace is sufficient. And the reason it's so amazing is because He's omniscient. He's omnipresent. He's immutable. He knows we're deficient. That's why He filled us with His Spirit. Because it would make up the difference. Our strength is perfect in our weakness. Our calling is in our uniqueness. Victory is manifested when the enemy thinks he defeats us. He thought the battle was won when He hung the King Jesus, the rabbi, whose life and death was a lesson, but He was the teacher, the apprentice. I'm learning life lessons, and my Lord is the teacher. My poems are the lessons that I've learned that I'm using to reach you. Look, I don't mean to preach you, but this amazing grace, this amazing grace, it'll keep you. It'll keep you like David even after he messed up with Bathsheba. Look, Samson messed up with Delilah, ended up bald, blind, and blind. Ended up bald, blind, and bound. But even in the prison, his hair began to grow because grace is just always abounds. Look at Jonah in his disobedience. God didn't let him drown, but he orchestrated he'd be swallowed up by a whale and spit out on dry ground. But see, grace gives us the opportunity to repent. So don't think because it's so amazing that there's no consequence. I mean, we still got to deal with the results of our actions. Jonah was swallowed up because of his reaction. Samson ended up bald, blind, and bound because of where he found satisfaction. And David, he lost his firstborn because he had a fatal attraction. Now, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid. It's through grace that we receive salvation and are given the opportunity to really live. Look, I live for him because he died for me. I ain't got it all together, but his grace, it covers me. It's sufficient when I'm deficient, and it secures my insecurities. I need it just as much on the mountaintop as I did in my obscurity. I need it just as much on the mountaintop as I did in the valley low. I need it especially to bestow this poem from any plateau. I need it to flow. I need it to grow. Amazing grace, I need it like Peter after the cock crowed. I need it like Saul on the Damascus road. It's amazing. God, he'll blind you for 3 days in the line of revelations to overflow. Whoa, his grace is so amazing. I can't believe it's not butter. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good is what I ought to see. I don't care if you have a speech impediment like Moses and you stutter, but God, he will use you with your Caribbean accent to spread this message to your father and your mother. It's extended to everyone, regardless of what you have done. Just receive the free gift of salvation offered through his son. See, sin is a burden on your shoulders and you're carrying the ton. Those things that overcame you, God will allow you to overcome. He'll make you the head and not the tail. He'll put you above and not beneath. Anything outside of God's will, I had you twisted, sweating like Keith. Don't be curious. His grace is a mysterious. I know we want a lot of things, but this is one thing we need. I'm serious. The opportunity is all around, and we don't have time to waste. So before the bell rings, make sure we embrace his amazing grace. God bless you.